And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Gunkin Droids, get with you coneheads. You guys know the drill. You probably just saw me a moment ago with the Stormtrooper, Luke, cape reveal, and all the additional hype that we have for today. Welcome to the next episode of I Don't How That News, where now we're talking about IG-90. Yeah, something about making Dr. Aphra better. A small detail, right? I don't think anyone cares about it. Oh, you guys do? Well, you're at the right place, my friends. Come on over. As a reminder, in case you missed it earlier, just a moment ago, put out a video on the Stormtrooper Luke cape reveal. The developers dropped all 6 cape reveals minus Spider Legs Maul, and we also have other stuff we're waiting for, such as details on these Lightspeed bundles that are in the data mine. Still nothing on that yet, but we have plenty of stuff to talk about in the meantime. So let's sit back, relax, and let's move on to this next episode today of IG-90, and stay tuned to your holopads because we got a lot more stuff coming to you guys, and YouTube only gets 3 notifications. This is number 2 for the day. So, IG-90, one of the highly requested things for Dr. Aphra, make her better. You know, especially when we look at Aphra versus Starkiller, similar type of character, similar class, you know, in terms of graduating, right? You know, Aphra's subsequent after Starkiller. Starkiller survived the test of time way more than Aphra. I felt like Aphra hit a really fast curve, especially in the world of Datacrons. She could really get screwed over. Well, IG-90 is meant to bring another dedicated unit to the team. It's bringing a lot of interesting things, like even, you know, how it's such a small thing, like, you know, Watt Timber can activate the damage over times. Well, we have something like that, and damage over time plays a role in the Aphra team, for example. So why don't we just read what the kit is? I don't need to explain it all conceptually because we have all the deets right here. Support, bounty hunter, droid, scoundrel. A lot of fun stuff going on. The question's gonna be sort of like when we got Forlam and Zuckuss. Could we use them with Aphra? Yeah, but not really. Could we use IG-90 with non-Aphra stuff? Well, let's show you what we have here. So the second marquee character for the era of anniversary, IG-90, was chosen next because Galaxy was launched with 3 different model IG droids, 86, 88, 100. But because Dr. Aphra could use a hand with some support that worked overtime to boost the effectiveness of her hacked commando droid and giving the team some much needed tank-like survivability. Plus, he's red, baby. You know, for those that weren't here back in the day, the droids, those 3 droids, 86, 88, 100, were maybe not so much 100, but 86 and 88 were kind of big deals when Pago, the lesser lead, was the thing. That eventually we got Jawa Engineer. And if you really think about it, after sort of the spiritual successor to the Engineer Pago lineups, you kind of took over the dark side droids in a way. So, you know, when you think about it, there is some lineage connection there. Upon conclusion of the era, IG-90 is perfectly suited to slot into Dr. Aphra's squad alongside BT, Trip, add in HK-47 for a deadly droid squad. Any rogue archaeologist would be proud to lead. Now, those last 2 spots have always been up in the air, right? You know, we've done things like, for example, you know, Dengar, Vader, you know, even things like Boba Fett's Sign of Django. You know, the list goes on and on and on and on. It's just, we needed more dedicated flavor to the mix, especially nowadays where the meta is all about, well, CG, like, specifically designating power rather than just plug and play, right? It doesn't go as far as it used to nowadays. Of course, there are some exceptions to plug and play type of characters and teams out there, but anywho's, let's get to the basic ability now. They said that other artwork will be approved and added later. We do not have any of this, so just imagine in your mind what the animations abilities look like in action. Basic ability, statement, point delivered. Deal physical damage twice the target enemy and inflict them with a defense down for 1 turn. Might seem minor to add, but when you have high damage dealing droids, you know, getting an extra layer of damage boost, that could help out. If they add in the leader slot is Dr. Aphra, and this is kind of where we're going to start seeing, yes, he's a scoundrel, droid, bounty hunter, whatever. This is sort of like the inverse of Forlam and Zuck, where they were meant for bounty hunters. This is going to be more tailored towards Aphra, but let's keep reading on. I apologize for always intervening on what we're doing here. If Dr. Aphra was the ally in the leader slot, you get to grant and trigger 2 stacks of heal over time on all allies for 1 turn and inflict and trigger 2 stacks of damage over time from the target enemy for 1 turn. If there's an active hack commando droid, it taunts for 1 turn. So this is kind of nice. It's sort of like turning the commando droid into, well, a like Genosian brute in a way, right? Giving you like a 6 member that's has to be focused on more, because most times you just kind of ignore it. You just let it go away when you finally win the battle. Well, now it's going to be a bit more active. So it's kind of a way for us to have a more dedicated taunting character on the team, because that's one of the requests we had. Like, she doesn't really have a taunting character. Kersanthan, yeah, but it's not really. This is where your taunting action is going to come from. And as I said, it feels like almost in a weird way, IG-90's bringing about some Wat Tambor level things, because Wat Tambor, where's your beautiful face at? I actually believe, again, don't want to jump the gun on this, but I believe Wat Tambor's light spell is going to be coming back again. Waiting for all those details to get data mined here. But you know, with this thing right here, trigger our healing on all heal over time and damage of all damage over time debuff. So this is very much a Wat Tambor type of inspiration here. Here's where design, synergies, inspiration notes. Design notes, adding stacks of HOTs, heal over times, damage over times on a basic is powerful on its own, but coupling it in Hack Commando Droid, nearly constantly taunting, makes the ability stand out on Aphra's team. So we're solving a few problems with just this basic alone. Obviously, Dr. Aphra or Hack Commando Droid are called out specifically for the synergies, inspiration for those that like to go kind of into the weeds and nerd out. IG-90's line of statement, "I have made my point, boss," it actually, I believe, is this exact image I just brought up here. In the comic Darth Vader issue number 7 to be exact, which features Dr. Aphra, was paraphrased to name this ability. All right, moving on, we got Devastating, a barrage. Cooldown of 3 on this special ability. Hey, people, keep up! Deal physical damage to all enemies and trigger, yet again, all stacks of damage over time on all enemies. Mark the target enemy for 2 turns, which can't be evaded or resisted. You saw I had to like double check. I was like 2 turns. You know, again, my brain works a mile an hour. Truly, it is that fast. If the ally in the leader slot is Dr. Aphra, yet again, call other dark side droid allies to assist. And oh my gosh, and all in. Hold on, got a little too excited there. We're calling all their dark side droid allies to assist, and all allies are covered 20% health and protection, and they gain offense up for 2 turns. IG-90 gains 40% defense and Hack Commando Droid taunts yet again. Bro, calling in BT to assist. You know, normally, like, we have some light assisting capabilities in the Aphra team already, but it's like, I don't want to call Aphra to assist. I want to call BT to assist. You know, we just talked about the Stormtrooper Luke cape reveal, and they were saying, like, they try to, like, minimize these RNG things. This is nice. Just call everyone to assist. Oh my gosh, that is great. Absolutely great. And again, another way of creating another taunt situation with the Hack Commando Droid. So, check this out. Design notes, triggering all the damage over time is very powerful ability, especially with his basic, handing out dots like they are going out of style. Marking the target can also help Aphra's team circumvent enemy taunts in the right situation. A lot of times, for example, against like Jabba, you know, that was supposed to be her bread and butter. It didn't really last long because of all the data crunch shenanigans. You're stuck behind Chrysanthemum, and you're kind of hoping that BT just smokes them out with an AoE, or Darth Vader kind of eventually knocks out the key characters around the taunt. Otherwise, yeah, you're kind of at the whim of a pre-taunt in front of you here. Also, synergies, dark side droids like BT Trip and HK-47 will get assists. I hope that HK-47 does indeed end up being the permanent home, because he feels a little bit lonesome after Revan said, "I'm done playing with you. I don't want to play with you anymore," and went to hang out with Malgus. We'll get assists of Aphra's in the leader slot. Hack Commando Droid, again, 2 turns of taunting off this ability as well, keeping him tanking for the team. And keep in mind, when it goes away, you just bring another one back. If forced to put the mark onto the already taunting enemy, IG-90's unique ability, well, we'll get there. We'll still bring some goodness, with members of the squad gaining offense and healing back some health every time the marked enemy is damaged. And some inspiration. Ever since we added IG-11 to the game, we love some of the spin to win animations we can do with the series of droids. So we wanted to highlight another version of that with this ability. So now, FAQ stuff, does IG-90 also assist himself when using this ability? He is a dark side droid as well. And no, though, the ability calls out, it causes other dark side droids. So we talked about this in the context of Stormtrooper Luke. Now we're talking about in the concept of this now, it's other droid allies to assist. This makes it exclude the unit using this ability, which is the case in IG-90. I'm fine with that. BT, just getting BT to assist, and whatever other droids we bring with, I'm good with that. Now, unique ability. I mean, are we already there? So yeah, special ability, basic ability. We're already at the unique ability. Oh, right. Simple-ish in terms of amount of abilities that you have at your disposal. Unique ability, query. Dead or alive. Zeta, Omicron. Well, it's a territory war zone, but you know, we're not gonna let that ruin my mood. At the start of the battle, IG-90 is 100% counter chance. And what does that basic do? I gotta explain it again? No, because you guys know what's going on here. Unique ability, query dead or alive. He has 100% counter chance. Whenever IG-90 is damaged, he inflicts speed down on a random enemy for 1 turn, and all scoundrel allies recover 5% health and protection. So that's kind of nice, right? That's where you have, again, like 4 elements up. Yes, there are some synergistic things you could do with Aphra. Nothing like amazing, but sort of like inversely, IG-90's got some cool synergistic stuff with Scoundrels, Bounty Hunters, for example. But this one, the good stuff kicks in. If the ally in the leader slot is Dr. Aphra at the start of battle, all allies gain 100% bonus protection. That was one of the issues. Well, Dr. Aphra, well, she was kind of the definition of a glass cannon, which is cool when you subtract things like datacrons, but in reality, well, here's the thing. A lot of teams are beefy and they can also deal a lot of damage, so the Aphra team was pretty easy to take down. This is going to give you a lot of ways to keep your team sticking around as long as possible. That's a big thing. Remember, bonus protection based off your max health, and after staying under stealth for 2 turns, that's great because you want to kind of being the last one standing, right? And then furthermore, we're not done yet. A lot of words here, a lot of words. Whenever an ally critically hits an enemy, they gain speed up for 2 turns. I don't suspect that's going to be an issue. We're going to get lots of critical hits. Whenever IG-90 resists a debuff, Dr. Aphra gains 5 stacks of Siphon. So this is nice. So this is kind of more of a slightly nuanced thing. But Aphra, right? Where is she at? Bring her up, right? She has her Siphon mechanic, fun stuff, right? Based off her potency. Where is she at? But also, where the heck is she? Where is the beautiful doctor? Don't be shy. Listen, you got some good stuff cooking here. All right, where is it in here? Where is it? Yeah. Whatever. Okay. Oh yeah, right there. I just missed it. Just passed it up at the very bottom here. Whenever Dark Side or a Scoundrel inflicts a debuff on an enemy, they gain 10% Terminator. Then while enemies are debuffed, they have minus 20% chance. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Where's the thing? The thing about them getting, oh my gosh, I gotta read all this again. Jeez, somewhere in here. Where the heck is it? Is it this one right here? In Grand Arenas. Somewhere in here, I'm pretty sure we have a tenacity ramping mechanism. You get Siphon, they get that much potency. I am feeling like I'm at a loss right now. Where the heck? Yes, there it is. Took me a minute. I'm like, too many words. Yes, here's what I'm looking for. At the start of Aphra's turn, she, Darkseid Droid, and Darkseid Scoundrel allies, Darth Vader, Chrysanthemum, gain defense, offense, and tenacity equal to 30% of Aphra's potency. What's the whole trick about Aphra? You want to keep ramping up her potency. She siphons it. So that's where it comes from. Okay, finally found it. Again, I knew it was in there somewhere. So getting when IG-90 resists, so maybe even getting some tenacity sets in potential could help out. You're going to help get that siphon up even more so we can get even more boost from the siphon capability. Again, moving on though, we got more to read. At the start of battle, Darkseid Droid allies have 50% crit avoidance. Again, kind of going to one of the problems. It's a cool glass cannon team. It just falls apart too quickly. Bonus protection, 50% critical avoidance. Yeah, that can help out a little bit, especially trying to mitigate maybe things like Commander Luke just running him over. At the start of each encounter, if Dr. Aphra has less than 50 stacks of Siphon, this is what's also nice. You got to work up the Siphon stacks, and especially in opening plays, you're waiting for, to get things moving. She gains 200% defense while under 50 stacks Siphon. Again, she can die way too easily. Again, another way of keeping her around. And then whenever IG-90 recovers health, inflict, again, more 3 stacks of damage over time on the healthiest enemy for 1 turn. And then whenever the Hack Commando Droid taunts, he gains 100% bonus protection and until taunt expires. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then whenever a marked enemy is damaged, all Scoundrel allies have hacked and Hack Commando Droid gain 5% offense stacking to a max of 80%, and they recover 5% health. So let's just say, for example, you're stuck behind Chrysanthemum. You're going to keep hammering him down, get all this offense gains, boom, big AoE, smoke him out. Yeah, pretty nice. And keep in mind, it's all Scoundrel allies. It's not just Droid allies. So you, hypothetically, if you wanted to, you can have Boba Fett's line of Jango still on this, or Dengar, for example. So it's not just droids. So kind of nice. So you still, even though they're saying HK-47, I think you could still have some options to her. It really feels like Darth Vader should be killer in this squad. Yes, he's not a droid, he's not a scoundrel, he can't assist. But a lot of damage over time he can apply, and then you can just instantly trigger this. So I don't want to say Dr. Vader. Darth Vader's out of the situation. While in Territory Wars, this is when Omicron kicks in. Whenever IG-90 uses the special ability and Dr. Aphra has 200 or more stacks of Siphon. So now what do we do when we're rolling? IG-90 and Dr. Aphra recover 40% health and protection, gain 30% offense stacking till the end of the encounter. Ooh, man. Then whenever an enemy is defeated, the weakest ally gains damage immunity for 1 turn. Kind of interesting. I'm guessing that might be like BT. I'm guessing that. I guess it depends. Or Dr. Aphra maybe is probably the weakest. Whenever IG-90 is defeated, oh, and for those, again, I'm sure you guys know this. I always hate the word weakest because you think it might be the one that can't do as much damage, right? So you would say, oh, like, for example, I don't know. We were talking about Old Ben. Old Ben would be the weakest in terms of damage. Weakest is less health and protection combined on the team. So likely Aphra BT would get this. Whenever an ally critically hits an enemy, dispel all buffs to the target enemy. Yikes, that's awesome. At the start of the battle, Scoundrel allies have critical chance up and critical damage up for 2 turns, and Bounty Hunter allies gain speed up and axe up for 2 turns. Whenever Dr. Aphra has 50 stacks of Siphon, all allies ignore taunt effects, and this would have been nice to have for Grand Arenas. But nonetheless, it's cool that they have it for Territory Wars. I felt like Aphra, you know what? Let me throw a bone. I feel like Aphra wasn't as good in territories because they didn't really have, the team didn't really have any sort of TW design things that really mattered much. They were more a Grand Arena focus thing. So you know what? Maybe having the TW Omicron would be nice to kind of round out her team a bit more for other things beyond Grand Arena. Whenever, yes, that's great. Being able to constantly ignore it would be nice. But even so, we have ways that even if we're stuck behind, like let's say you mark a Chrysanthemum, we have ways to just keep ramping up our offense big time. And then let's read their design notes here. We wanted an ability that did its best to shore up several of the weaknesses in Dr. Aphra squad, as well as bring in some punch up to the table. Dr. Aphra gaining 5 stacks of Siphon, 1 IG-90 resist debuff, might have you considering a Tenacity mod set, and we'll leave that up to you to decide if it's worth it or not. Again, I think you might be able to ramp up Tenacity as is, and of course, Datacrons will help out with that. The Territory Wars Omicron should make the Dr. Aphra squad a real contender in that game mode. 100% counter chance. We'll have IG-90 attack with the basic over and over again as he is attacked, adding more dots to the enemies and more hots to the allies. IG-90 also calls his hack commando droid to taunt, with both of the abilities giving HCD 100% bonus protection every single time. And, you know, we kind of got a leader ability here, too. I mean, I think we're going to likely stick with Aphra, but let's just check it out. Calculated suppression at the start of battle, all dark side droids and all dark side bounty hunter allies. All right, okay. Gain 30% critical chance and critical damage. All scoundrel allies gain 20% offense and 20% tenacity until the end of the battle. I think really the way to look at this, he's a bounty hunter. There's sort of I think it's been spoken. Maybe I'll just say unspoken in case it has been spoken. It's sort of par for the course that if you're a bounty hunter, whether you'll be actually used is a whole different story. You need to have a leader and a payout and a contract. This is why we're seeing it. So while IG-90 is in the leader slot and not the ally slot, the following contract is active. Inflict 20 debuffs on enemies. Only bounties can contribute towards this. It doesn't seem like that hard to do, honestly. For the rest of the battle, all bounty hunter allies have their payouts activated and gain the following. While a bounty hunter ally is attacking, they have 5% offensive deal bonus true damage. So think like a little bit like Bad Batch in a way. And here's the payout for IG-90. Whenever IG-90 receives rewards from a contract or another scoundrel ally in the leader slot, gains 50 stacks of Siphon. He also gains the following payout. Him and the Hack Commando Droid gain 40% defense, and the Hack Commando Droid taunts for 2 turns, then grants Siphon to Dr. Aphra until the end of the encounter. Bounty Hunter allies have 50% potency and 30% offense. So, as they say here, I guess it's spoken then. All Bounty Hunters require leader abilities. I said it was unspoken. It's like I'm trying to remember way back when they started really focusing the bounty hunters. I was like, did they actually say, well, here, they're saying it here. Contracts on said leader and a payoff for when they or another bounty hunter ally fulfills their contracts. So we need to make sure we included one here. We tried to make it good enough on its own, but great under Dr. Aphra, where the character was designed to go. The synergies, the payout effects are designed to greatly benefit Dr. Aphra and her Hack Commando Droid. And then FAQ, wait, Dr. Aphra's not a bounty hunter, so how does IG-90 get his payout and thus benefits for Aphra and the HCD under Aphra lead? Normally a payout only happens when a bounty hunter contract is fulfilled, but IG-90 can have his activated under a Dr. Aphra lead when she gains 50 stacks of Siphon. Shouldn't be hard. How much critical chance, critical damage does Dark Side Bounty Hunter Droid, IG-90, IG-88, and 4-alarm get after the start of the battle? That unit will receive 30% critical chance and critical damage because they are dark side droids, and in addition receiving 30% for being dark side bounty hunters, totaling 60% critical chance and critical damage. So I'm happy that even though they are intending this to fully be a Dr. Aphra unit, it's cool that they still give you the opportunity to use him with some bounty hunters out there, right? Okay, it's, you know, it's a nice little mixture of stuff on the lead. I think there are definitely better bounty hunter leads out there, but it's more just getting the payout, right? Or another scoundrel ally in the leader slot, Dr. Aphra. So this seems like a ton of fun. It's going to address a lot of the issues that Dr. Aphra has. Durability, more damage, faster Siphon ramping. Maybe HK-47 is the go-to for that fit spot. Yes, he's a droid and all that, and droids get more benefits of Dr. Aphra, but I want to make sure that our, you know what, I'm thinking ahead here. Let's not jump the gun too much. There might be a different future for Darth Vader down the road, but I just want to say, you know, that if you don't care about Darth Vader and other spots out there, he can maybe do fine with all the damage over time stuff. But we got other kit reveals to talk about next. Next kit reveal we're going to talk about is Inquisitor Barris. So that's going to be it for this episode, my friends. You guys know the drill. Let me know your thoughts down below. Does this make you a little bit happier with the power that Dr. Aphra is going to be acquiring soon? Remember, this is not coming next week. This is going to be the kit that we're going to have after Stormtrooper Luke. So 3 weeks from, or 2 weeks from this upcoming Tuesday. All right, does that make sense? When you're hanging out with me, if it's something makes sense, I'm not doing my job here as the king of Trippy Gods. Get the mobile game in the 8th Ave creation, supreme ruler of the multiversal video gaming realm. You know the drill. See you guys in the next episode. Keep those holopads charged, because as you guys know, it's a busy day, and it's great to be in the Empire today. Gary, it's great to be in the Empire today.